I think the sad dollar has a place in the economics of in the society. I don't see it as being a mainstay. I know it's being pushed on, when you're, Ireland paying on these guys, if you want to be processors and that and stuff like that, well, you get the NID, so you haven't done anything, you've been given something. Right. So if you're given a government ticket, say to displace NID payments, etc., and you can convince them to let's put this inside up and achieve that. That's just a part of the process. Yeah. Probably advantage because you have people that really can't say no. Right. They take it as they get it. Right. Yeah. So if you have the ability to really consider what is the truths and the pros and cons of the digital currency, you have to consider what is the infrastructure necessary. And you have to understand what laws do you have in place to protect you as a consumer when you're dealing with a digital currency. And then you also have to understand the protections that those laws and rights that has to happen. Who is the gatekeeper for that, and who's ensuring that you will be secure and protected. If it all comes back down to the same regimes, you're going to have a high brush for your money. I think that personally, the whole idea, the concept of the sand dollar is an imprudent mistake. I think, like I said, it has a position in the Bahamian economy. It's going to be pushed on us. I mean, the whole emphasis is here, right? Is to make the Bahamas a checklist society within the next 2 years as we march our way to be a cashless society. And that's not a cashless society with an option.
When they had the representative here for the central bank Reverend Sandal, I told him because of the external international pressures, monetary pressures that we see every year or every other administration, I think it would be prudent for them to create monetary policy that's enshrined in our Constitution that's not easily manipulated by foreign pressures. Because if you're going to put something in and you're going to say this is going to be our legal tender, which sand dollar is, because outside of our physical dollar, sand dollar is legal tender, that needs to have some sort of constitutional protection for the consumer and for the country. Because any macro could say, hey, they're laundering money. They're on ramp for Bitcoin or whatever.
But today it's the same thing, right? No matter what you do. The Bahamas is always going to be, we're going to be interpol, but we're not going to be interpol, right? So no matter what you do, you're going to always have those external pressures because of the fact that, we are a nation that's dependent nation. No matter how to look at it, we'll always be a dependent nation. And as long as you're going to be a dependent nation, no matter how you look at it, you're always going to have this external pressure. There's always going to be some form of quid pro quo. Do you want this done? You have to do that. You need this done? You have to produce that. That's never going to change. That's just the basis of being a small huckleberry. That's never going to change. We don't want to be in a position to write out a book. If we were somehow fortunate 20 years ago to hit the largest oil reservoir in this part of the world, and we probably could push our agenda, even as a smaller nation. But outside of that, like a Dubai, for example. But outside of that, it is not going to happen. It's a wonderful idea, concept, but it's just not standalone, doable. And I'm not saying that to put a stump and say, we can't do this as a people. We can achieve anything about as a people realistically if reasonable, right? But at the same token, to have protections in the Constitution would be powerful and would be necessary. It would be a most needed part of having any particular standard with the sand dollar, right? Mm-hmm. As a digital currency, as a legal tender.
Correct.
The big emphasis for that is we can barely, even at this time, we can barely enforce the rights we have afforded to us in the Constitution in the general nature. So to then put in the mix of that with
monetary policy,
monetary policy with financial health, that makes it even further free, because we have a challenge just enforcing general constitutional ideals and rights. We're still debating the same 4-year freedom of information standards for 20 years. We're still, now we're talking about R2 rape as a method. It's like, we seem to have one eyeful of just gibberish. You know, we talk on things for so long and achieve so zero.
So little.